we'll shift it away from the hate talk and the perks talk, the basketball talk, and bring it on over to I think the next team here that I kind of wanted to get your opinion on. It's 100 E's, since we only play Karma in the mid lane for Abadage. They go 2-1. Abadage, after day one, is same kind of hard reaction, like Karma. We're gonna go to Karma. They lock in Karma again. Everyone's like, no, not Karma again. But then they find success in it and then go back into it. Yeah, I mean, it's hard overreaction, but you just brought in this guy to play different champs, and he's just supporting others.
Wait, why? Why does he have to play different champs? I never understand that. So just because so if Karma is actually a strong pick in the meta and it's a flex pick, so what their strategy was they would pick it early, and if the enemy team picked an engage support, then they would just play a counter to the engage support, something like Braum. So if the enemy team picks Leona, they play Braum and they play Karma into a bunch of these matchups mid. Like, what is the issue? Like, how? Like, I feel like their drafts were fine. They had like the Karma Cog Braum comp. I thought that was a good draft. So I have no idea why these situations are being construed in a way where we're like them drafting a pick devalues his purpose as a player. He's not going to play only Karma for 28 games, but like overall I think that it worked out over the weekend. I think it was a good pick for them.
What did you think about the picks and putting the flex of Karma here in the drafts, LS?
I mean, I think Karma. I mean, I think people that have flamed Karma over the last 6 months. Dom, I'm sorry, I have no idea if you did, but I think most people that do are pretty silly. Because Karma's a champion that. Okay, you like Karma. Okay, good. There's a lot of people that flamed Karma over the last 6 months because Karma's a champion that you can't see what she's doing. So for a spectator, she doesn't look like she's doing anything unless you see her like throw up the 1k shields in late game, right? And it just looks broken. Or like a carry is about to die and Karma throws up the massive shield and the carry lives. Which we actually got to see in the 100 Thieves game. But generally, Karma is very akin to Gangplank, or very akin to a lot of control champions that don't have like a wow factor, like an explosive control-y thing, right? Where if your team is winning, Karma will make you win harder, or if the team is even, Karma's going to make it really fucking hard for you to lose. But if Karma's behind, or if Karma's team is behind, she's going to look useless. She can't do anything, right? Because she's an enabler. She supports, she like steroids people who are in the game. So mid laner's behind, jungler's behind, AD carry's behind. Doesn't matter if Karma's even. Doesn't matter if Karma's ahead. The nature of the champion means that there's nothing for her to support, so she can't do anything. And this is actually a really big problem with the league community. It's a really big problem with analysis. It's a really big problem with people who call themselves coaches or analysts and try to chime in on the subject matter because they clearly don't know what the fuck is actually going on with the champion. So Karma's pretty fucking broken. Her items cost less. She hits like a fucking truck. Her base values are broken. There's just too much going on. And then, like dGon already mentioned, she's a multi-flex pick. She can go 80, support, mid, and top. So Karma's pretty fucking interesting because I feel like I can comment on this because the T1 scrims, right? We played a metric fuck ton of Karma in 3 different roles, right? And one of the interesting things too is the T1 Academy players at the very beginning, they weren't playing Karma. But by day 3, 4, and 5, they start B1ing Karma. They start banning Karma. They start prioritizing Karma. And then like even in like feedback, they start complaining about Karma, right? As like a necessity. So they start with like Nautilus, Leona, fucking Braum, and like other support champions. And then by day 3, 4, and 5, it's Enchanter v Enchanter, like Karma multi-flex, going everywhere because she's just too fucking stupid. So I don't think he needs to play another champion. I think the Karma pick is totally fine. She's either even or winning versus almost every match in the game right now. She's a great neutralizer. Yeah, especially mid. It's impossible to move her in mid, right? So she does what you want her to do. If she gets ahead, she's really oppressive. She accelerates abnormally fast due to the simple costs of her items. Her recipe component items are fucking broken because Forbidden Idol is just nuts for 800 gold. It's one of the best recipe items in the game. So Karma's nuts. But the issue is that if the carries are behind or if the team's behind, Karma's going to look dog. Right? She doesn't have that wow factor. When Karma does win, again, really fucking hard to see Karma's input. It's really like Gangplank. But if we have like losers interviews and you ask the losing team what they felt from the enemy champions, like Gangplank or Karma or like these other champions, you'd get a lot more insight into what's actually happening in the game, but isn't like readily apparent on screen to a spectator who might not see what's really going on, or like what sort of things these champions are controlling or restricting from the opponents.
Yeah. And then one thing I want to add here is that it also is specifically good into Rumble, which is what they were picking it into in these games, because like essentially her Mantra Shield just counters Rumble ult. Where like if Rumble doesn't have like a really insane setup, because a lot of people are just playing Rumble as an OP jungler because it's just broken. But like there's ways you can optimize Rumble, right? Like you play things like Kiana, if Kiana is good in certain situations, Gnar, you play pretty much engage tools that are going to keep people in place for the Rumble ult. A lot of people don't have these. So if you have Karma and the enemy team doesn't have these tools, like number one, it just makes it harder because they can't just like ult for free. They have to like use their extra tools in order to set up the Rumble ult. But number two, like all those like random pick ults that Rumble can do are just Mantra shielded away. So I mean, I just feel like these are the times where he's picking it. I mean, he's just picking it into Rumble pretty much every time. Like, did they play into Rumble all 3 games? I know they played into at least like 2 of them, right? So might have been all 3 games that they played it into Rumble. So it could be just a situational counter to the champion.
Thank you for the breakdown on the Karma pick, just because that was such a it was a strong reaction from multiple levels of the industry, from the community, whether it was fans, whether it was other coaches, whether it was the casters. And so look at that, Coach Reaper on something and willing to double down on what their scrim results proved, and leads to a 2-1 record, putting them solidly in 3rd place. Tied with, it's time, y'all. It's time to talk about one of our favorite players historically here on Facecheck. It's not keeping an eye out, but it's time for the watch. The watch has returned. Soligo Watch and the rest of Dignitas are on point here. A lot of the community saying, hey, look, Joshy Boy and Afromoo, obviously anchors of this roster, but Fake God and Soligo stepped up, at least in games 1 and 2. Picking the Akali straight into.
I mean, they're playing better than most of the teams in the league.
Being like, hey, look, I know you're a carry top laner, but
this is what it is.
So am I.
Anyways,
someone
I feel
really
like,
doesn't like Soligo. And
no. I mean,
does.
I'm fine with Soligo. Like, I think Soligo's like okay, but I mean, I just think that Dig is like an okay team. They should be like a bottom middle of the pack team, and they should just be used as like a metric for like how good the league is. That's honestly how I see it.
Still though, at what point are we gonna put them into the echelon with other teams? What
echelon do you want to put them in? The TSM, 100 Thieves, TL, C9?
Like, who's your top team right now? It'd be like TSM, right? TSM.
I would still think that like C9. Yeah, I mean, I don't care that much about week 1. Like, I know everyone wants to just lose their shit over week 1, but like TSM still looks like TSM. Like Cloud9 played under the level that they played at, but they're like, I mean, it's just Cloud9, right? Like they're going to get better over the course of the split because they came back from MSI, shit hit the fan, they had to replace a player, like they didn't scrim much. Now they're like getting into it. They also are known for having the mentality that they're going to try to level up throughout the split. And when they get to the actual like finals, when they got to like playoffs, they figured out what they wanted to play and they were like good at a style. And when I think that Cloud9 does that, I don't see a world where Dignitas is better than Cloud9.
Completely agree with Dom. I also don't really care about week 1. I don't care about month 1, year 1, decade 1, and that's why I think CLG is still on top.
Nice.
Hey, thanks so much for watching VENN Esports. Make sure you hit that subscribe button below and explore other videos. In fact, click the ones on the screen right now. Works better than trying to click on my shoes to get them. You can't.